Alan Villalon is a senior research analyst at FAF Advisors, which owns about 500,000 shares of Bank of America stock, and he joins us from his offices in Minneapolis. Alan, good to see you. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me on.
Okay, so any surprise at all that we haven't gotten an announcement yet by Bank of America about a new CEO?
No, I don't think there's been much of a surprise there. We did find Ken Lewis's retirement announcement pretty surprising, and the selection committee's target date of Thanksgiving to be pretty ambitious, but we're not surprised at this point, given the government's role and all the vetting that's going on right now. You know, we do see a CEO probably being named over the next several months, but I would see this issue lingering into probably 2010.
But the fact that a lot of people had expected it sometime around Thanksgiving, so sometime last week, and the fact that it hasn't come yet, does it tell you at all or signal to you that the decision might be a bit more difficult, that the board is taking a bit more time, that there are no obvious candidates, even though, of course, Brian Moynihan has been talked about as the best internal candidate?
Yes, I think there's been a lot going on there. I mean, there's definitely an albatross around Bank of America's stock price right now, given the CEO search. I think there are a lot of names being bandied out there right now. Mr. Moynihan's name being one of them, Greg Curl, the chief risk officer, Mr. Kelly over at Bank of New York. I think the committee right now is trying to go through some thorough vetting right now, and also too seeing how much, the big question right now is how much the government is involved in the selection. I think if the committee had more of their choice right now, I think we would have seen a swifter move to name Mr. Moynihan right now. But I think, given the government interaction, I think they want to make sure that government's okay with who they choose to be the successor to Mr. Lewis. I think that's why the vetting process is going to be much longer.
And who would you favor? Who would you favor as an investor?
I think right now I'd see Mr. Moynihan as a wise choice. I think he's got a very good history with Bank of America. He came over from the Fleet acquisition many years ago. He's also been the general counsel at Bank of America. He's now in charge of the consumer banking unit. I think he's quite capable of doing the job. But also, too, if we're looking at Mr. Moynihan, we'd also like to see, if it's not him, we'd like to see somebody of his stature that can handle a large organization and also has a good dealing with the government.
And as a shareholder, I mean, do you mind if the board pays this new CEO a lot of money to come on board?
That's a great question. I mean, the pay czar is definitely going to be an influence on how to attract a new CEO now. I think the question is the compensation appropriate for what the person will be doing? The compensation will have to be somewhat approved by the pay czar, but also, too, the compensation I don't see it being egregious right now in this environment. I think the compensation would have to get somebody of quality. They do have to pay something competitive, but I don't think it'll be egregious.
Okay. All right, Alan, good to talk with you. Thank you. Alan Villalon is a senior research analyst at FAF Advisors and also a shareholder in Bank of America.